This is Glow in the Dark Radio. The science fiction podcast with original independent science fiction written and performed by Mike Luoma, with music by Kevin MacLeod. The Vatican Assassin Trilogy and The Adventures of Alibi Jones by Mike Luoma are available in ebook, trade paperback, and audiobook wherever you find your books online. Get links and details at glowinthedarkradio.com. This is the science fiction podcast, Glow in the Dark Radio. I'm your host, your writer and reader, Mike Luoma, and I have Chapter 16 of Alibi Jones and the Sunrise of Her coming up on this episode. So let me set it up for you. Although I was noticing, we did just celebrate episode 800, and last time around 801. This is episode 802, which I'm just making note of because Vermont's area code is 802. It's where I live, is Vermont. And this is episode 802. There are some later scenes with Alibi Jones in Vermont, but those are a couple books away, so none of this has much to do with where Alibi Jones is right now, or where he's at right now. So let me fill you in on that, on where Alibi actually is at. When we last left Alibi Jones, he had been stuck out on the backwater world of Sloan by his vindictive supervisor, Brandywine. But the Greater Tah have proved to be as aggressive as Alibi Jones had warned, and they have now just announced annexation of Dakhur Space, taking over the part of space controlled by the cat-like race, the Dakhur. So has Alibi Jones been vindicated? We shall see in Chapter 16 of Alibi Jones and the Sunrise of Her, coming up on Glow in the Dark Radio. First, a little news. A big thank you to patrons for supporting the podcast. Hope you've been enjoying the early episodes. This one should be early as well, although not quite as early as last week. Still, ahead of everybody else. And I just really want to thank patrons for supporting me this far as we do go on past episode 800 here. If you would like to become a patron and help to do the same, I would greatly appreciate your support. So just head over to patreon.com/glowinthedarkradio if you want to learn more, or become a patron for $2, $5, or $10 a month. That's Patreon, Patreon, patreon.com/glowinthedarkradio to get the details or to sign up. And I want to be sure to let you know, if you haven't seen it yet, that there is a new Glow in the Dark Radio Substack. So if you go to glowinthedarkradio.substack.com, you can stay in touch with me that way, and you can do a free subscription or a paid subscription there to support my work as well. Or become a patron and get a complimentary subscription, paid subscription, to the Substack. It's part of the deal. Well, that is all for book news. We're going to get into Chapter 16 of Alibi Jones and the Sunrise of Her next on Glow in the Dark Radio.
Wake up, go to work. Work. Come home. Eat dinner. Rot your brain out. Go to bed. Lather, rinse, repeat. Are you tired of an old humdrum life? Tired of things that just weigh you down and depress you? Wouldn't you rather just focus on things that are awesome? Tune into Nutty Bites. Find out what's awesome. Nutty Bites. nimlas.org/blog.
is Chapter 16 of Alibi Jones and the Sunrise of Her on Glow in the Dark Radio.
The disorder left after the death of the Eldred offends the Greater Tah. We have been working among the central planets, restoring order. We are now extending that order to all the known planets. The Greater Tah does not have ambitions. We do not want power. We merely wish for order. And so we absorb her and the Dakhur into the order of the Greater Tah.
The Sotah spokesbeing finishes. The announcement regarding the Greater Tah's annexation of her ends. Alibi's Aunt Anita comes back on the view screen.
Seems the Greater Tah are as incapable of negotiations and as inflexible as the Tech Tah were,
Anita says to Alibi across the light years. She called on his wand with good news. She's gotten his assignment on Sloan cut short. Given the new aggression of the Greater Tah, she was able to argue that his skills had been vindicated, and that his abilities were required back in the Solar Alliance. Talking to the Tech Tah was pointless, Alibi agrees, and the Greater Tah are getting to be a bit much to take. Alibi shakes his head. The Tech Tah were chaotic and primitive, Alibi says. How could we know they were the inbred hillbillies of the Tah? The Greater Tah are much more dangerous, smarter, lords of order, not chaos.
Yes, as they are all too willing to point out,
Anita concurs.
Well, I do look forward to seeing you, Alibi. Your transportation is all set. I've sent you the details on a sub-channel. I told that Brandywine woman you were temporarily assigned here to me. She didn't like that, but I told her I outranked her.
Oh, great, Alibi says. She hates me because of who I am. You're just making it worse.
Well, if she discriminates against you because of me, I can make things worse for her,
Anita says, with a touch of venom in her voice.
If she thinks she needs to tip the scales against you out of some perceived favoritism, that makes me so mad. Well, maybe the world should work the way she thinks it does. I'd hate to disappoint her.
What do you mean? Alibi wonders.
She sent you out there to Sloan, and then she was absolutely dreadful to me. Maybe she'd enjoy an assignment out there.
You wouldn't.
Oh, I would,
Anita says. You can do that?
I can do that.
You wouldn't do that.
I would.
I love you, Aunt Anita, Alibi proclaims with a little extra added over-enthusiasm.
See you soon, Alibi,
she replies, signing off. Remind me not to cross Aunt Anita. Alibi laughs when he sees whose ship he's been booked on for the trip back to Ceres Central. Hope he doesn't hold a grudge. Hello, Brady Thomas. Alibi greets the man as he approaches. I thought it might be you, kid, Thomas says. Not to worry. You're a paying passenger. And seem to be connected enough to have folks get me back my good standing with the SA. So, come on board. We'll head back to the Sol system. Brady Thomas invites Alibi to sit on the bridge in the empty co-pilot's seat. As he sits and watches the lighted controls in front of him, Alibi misses flying his cruiser. Well, not his cruiser anymore. Maybe Aunt Anita can help me get it back. It's a relatively fast trip back to Ceres. As always, it takes longer to negotiate the asteroids between the Transpace Point and Ceres than it does to make the jump. Thomas spots Alibi hungrily eyeing the controls as they travel through the asteroids. You fly, don't you, Jones? Used to have a cruiser, didn't you? Yeah, Alibi responds. The safe took it away. I haven't flown for a couple of months. You want to try my girl here for a little while? Really? You'd let me do that? Sure, Brady says. He laughs a sympathetic laugh. I know that look I saw on your face. Go ahead. There are duplicate controls right there in front of you. Alibi enjoys dodging the rocks as he flies the ship in towards the largest of the asteroids. Brady Thomas takes the controls back as they near Ceres Central, so he can fly them in on final approach. Alibi calls his aunt as Thomas docks the ship.
Alibi? Good. I've got a surprise for you. A surprise guest. Meet me in my office soon as you can,
she tells him, with an air of mystery in her tone. When Alibi walks into his aunt's office, he cannot believe his eyes. Kit? The Dakhur stands next to his aunt's desk. Kit! Alibi can't help himself. Oh my God, Kit! I'm so glad you... As the Dakhur turns to speak to him, Alibi can see that it really isn't Kit. His eyes and wishful thinking played tricks on his perception. I am sorry. I am not Kit, the Dakhur interrupts with the news. No, I am sorry, Sir Dakhur, Alibi says. You look a lot like a friend of mine. Yes, Kit, as you call him, is my brother, the Dakhur says. You and I met at his, ceremony. I am Grundler, Alibi Jones. Oh, you're Cat, Alibi remembers. Yes, if you must, the Dakhur purrs darkly. You have trouble telling Dakhur apart, Alibi Jones. I have heard stories of how you confused my father with his brother during the first negotiations you oversaw with our people and the Flays. I'm sorry, again, Grundler, Alibi attempts to say the Dakhur's full name. My mind played tricks on me. I was hoping it was Kit, so at first I thought you were him. You do not look alike. My apologies. As for those negotiations, that was a long time ago. I was inexperienced. I'm surprised your father and uncle still talk about it. They did not speak of it at all for a long time, Cat says. But once the shame was taken away, Dakhur and my uncle were able to laugh about it and tell the stories. There never should have been any shame, Alibi responds with some anger and reflexive defensiveness. The Flays altered the terms of the agreement after the fact. They had no right to do that. As we all know now, Alibi Jones, you bear no shame for that. And by returning the sunrise of her, you have made an attempt to make up for any, further shame you have accrued. The Dakhur leaves talk of the tragic wedding ceremony unspoken. Anita Capituna clears her throat. Hello, Alibi. Good to see you. Hello, Aunt Anita, Alibi says and smiles. So, Cat here is your big surprise, huh? Well, yes, although he comes bearing some terrible news, she tells him. She turns to Cat and nods at him, indicating he should go on and tell Alibi his story. My father is in negotiations with the Greater Tah, Cat tells Alibi, trying to preserve what he can of our government hierarchy under their order. Unfortunately, my brother Kit lost his temper, quite unseemly for Dakhur. He blasted his way out of her spaceport, and has been labeled renegade and fugitive by the Greater Tah. Disordered, they call him. We fear he may finally be going after Lavalur. The Tah say you humans have been a bad influence upon him. They blame his behavior on his interactions with you humans. You most especially, Alibi Jones. Oh, come on! Alibi can't help himself. Cat pauses. Alibi? Anita says, with some edge. Go on, Cat. Do not take offense, Alibi Jones. We know that is not the case. Kit has always been, impetuous and proud. This is not the first time he has gone rogue. No? Alibi asks. No, that is why you met him in a Tah cell, Alibi Jones. Did you not know this? No. Kit never wanted to talk about that, Alibi explains. He had decided to visit Tektikarn as an independent envoy for the Dakhur, Cat continues. Not unheard of among non-heir sons of the diplomatic families. There is a need to prove themselves, you see. They often take on impossible assignments. With our father disgraced, he decided he would go for the Dakhur diplomatic family's ultimate treasure, a treaty with the Tah, a race known for their inability to negotiate. It, did not go well.
Yeah, I know the ending of that story, Alibi cracks.
Has it ended? Cat asks. I see this as a continuation. More of Kit's foolishness. This is why I do not blame you humans for his current actions.
What brings you here then, Cat? Alibi asks.
Father sent me to see if I could track down my brother. He would have come himself, if he could. I was hoping to find that Kit had come this way. Sadly, he has not. I have been unable to discover his trail. It seems I must go to this planet Kismet Kit has spoken of, the home of Lavalure.
I'd offer to go with you, but I'm not welcome there, Alibi tells Cat. Come to think of it, Kit is persona non grata there too.
He has publicly threatened to kill Lavalure, Cat admits.
Some people just need killing, Alibi agrees. Not helpful, Alibi, Anita interjects, with a glare over at Alibi.
Well,
Cat begins to move towards the door.
I must ask you to excuse me. My search continues. It was a pleasure to meet you again, Alibi Jones, the Catman says. And thank you once again, Prime Representative Emeritus Capituna.
Cat leaves Alibi alone with his aunt in her office. That can't be good, Alibi says to his aunt. No, she agrees. I heard pretty much the same thing from him before you arrived. He has his story down. What do you mean? Do you think he's lying? I'm not sure, Anita says. Something isn't right here, Alibi. And the way he mentioned his father would have come, if he could. Why can't he? Good question, Alibi says. I didn't notice that. Anita chuckles. What's so funny? Alibi asks. That woman Brandywine demanded that I have an assignment for you, Anita tells him. She said I couldn't call you back from that Flay's outpost unless I had something new for you to do. Now, it turns out that I do. You do? I do. You are going to be my special envoy to Rakkar, she states matter-of-factly. What? Alibi is stunned. I don't think they want me back there. I'm sure the Greater Tah won't appreciate my presence. Rakkar might be a little less hostile. Rakkar may want our help, Anita says. He might even be glad to see you. And I'd be glad to get under the scaly skin of the Greater Tah for a change. How soon should I leave? Alibi asks. How soon is now? But I don't have a ship. Maybe I can get back my cruiser. How did you get here? On that ship you booked me on. Guy with his own ship, a bounty hunter, I think. See if he's still here. Maybe he can give you a ride to her. I'll pay him a little extra to do it. If he asks for it, don't go and offer it to him first. Yes, Aunt Anita, Alibi drones in a sing-song voice. Alibi, don't get cute with me, young man. Now is not the time. Fine, Alibi says past a pout. Somehow his aunt can always make him feel like a 10-year-old kid again. Allie, come here, his aunt calls him over to her. She waits, arms open, and gathers him in a hug when he reaches her. He squeezes her back. She is not usually very emotional, but seems unusually worked up. She eases her grasp and pulls back, but keeps a hand on each of Alibi's shoulders instead of letting him go. She looks up to look him in the eye as she continues. I have a bad feeling her won't be your last stop on this trip, she tells him. I can see where all this is leading. Katie is already there. Now it sounds like Kit is, too. You think Kit is? You think I'm going to Kismet? Alibi asks his aunt, surprised. I'm not planning to. Don't even want to. Anita drops her arms as she laughs at Alibi. You know you're lying, Allie, she rebukes him. I know you've wanted to go ever since Lavalure took Katie. Don't lie to me. It's why I sent you off to look for the sunrise of her, trying to distract you. Didn't think you'd find it so quickly. Oh, really?
Alibi glares at his aunt in mock anger with a smile on his face. Alibi, listen. Anita's tone of voice grows dark and serious. There are truly evil people in this universe. Most of the time, society finds ways to protect the rest of us from those sick ones. We have laws and jails, and we put those evildoers away when we can. Unfortunately, because we're in a free society, that is usually only possible after they've done something horrible, something evil. But most of the time, when they do show themselves for the evil bastards they are, we have remedies. That's one of the things that we get right, I think. However, there are some people who do evil things, get caught doing them, yet still find ways to get away. René Lavallure is one of those people, Alibi. He is an evil, evil man. He left the Solar Alliance to avoid our laws, to avoid punishment for truly despicable behavior. He found a way to get beyond our reach, beyond the law. We know he's got scientists working on illegal human modifications. They're experimenting on humans in alternate atmospheres and with cyborg implants. And not all the victims are willing participants in the experimentation. He sends expeditions to dead Eldred worlds, searching for artifacts and objects of power left behind by the ancient enemy, without regard for the toxins and hazards. The booby traps we all know guard those planets. His casinos and hotels are staffed by veritable slave labor and indentured servants, sometimes in generational debt to him and his bank. It's barbaric. I know all this, Aunt Anita, Alibi responds, trying to reassure her. Knowing it and knowing what it means are two different things, she cautions him. It means he won't come into the Solar Alliance. He can't. His people will, as we've seen, but he cannot. However, she pauses for emphasis. If you go to Kismet, you are on his territory, in his lair, she says, and she spits out the last word to dramatic effect. I can do nothing for you there, Alibi. Knowing you may be going there, I feel the most helpless and ineffective that I can feel, she confesses. Alibi reaches out to grab his aunt in another hug. She returns his grasp and pats his back. If I end up going to Kismet, if I have to go, I'll be careful, he tells her over her shoulder. I'll wear some kind of disguise. There's no way I'd show up there looking like myself. I'll be careful, Aunt Anita. I promise, he says, again trying to reassure her. Oh, Alibi, she sighs. She lets him go but holds him in her gaze as she backs away from him. I remember when you were a reckless little boy. Now, I hope you can be as dangerous a grown man. I can be dangerous, Alibi insists. When I have to be. He puffs up his chest, a natural biological response to the challenge. Good, Anita says. She gathers herself together. Well, you should get going, she says, in a softer voice. Let me know what's happening. Like you need me to keep you informed, Alibi says.
That was Chapter 16 of Alibi Jones and the Sunrise of Her on Glow in the Dark Radio. Well, Alibi Jones is back in the Solar Alliance, at least for a time, back on Ceres Central for a bit. Long enough to again meet Kat, Kit's brother, and find out Kit is missing. So now Alibi's Aunt Anita wants Alibi to go to her to speak with Rakkar about Kit's disappearance. She thinks there's more going on than what Kat was just saying, but more that Kat couldn't say, at least not directly. So Alibi's gonna speak to Rakkar about Kit's disappearance, and his Aunt Anita knows following Kit may lead Alibi to Kismet and Lavallure, and Katie for that matter, and some deep trouble, no doubt. We'll travel with Alibi into what's now effectively enemy territory, as he heads to her, the homeworld of the Dakhur, now under the control of the Greater Tah, newly annexed by the Greater Tah. In Chapter 17 of Alibi Jones and the Sunrise of Her, coming up on our next episode. Again, huge thank you to patrons, and if you'd like to become one or learn more about supporting the show that way, just head to patreon.com/glowinthedarkradio. And be sure to check out the new Glow in the Dark Radio Substack, glowinthedarkradio.substack.com, to find out more about Glow in the Dark Radio. And stay in touch. And that is all for this episode. I'm your host, your writer and reader, Mike Luoma. Thank you again for listening to Glow in the Dark Radio. Glow in the Dark Radio. This podcast presentation is copyright 2025 by Michael F. Luoma and is protected under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives 4.0 International License, CC by NC-ND 4.0. Music by Kevin MacLeod. You can find his work at incompetech.com. Mike's books are available in ebook, paperback, and audiobook, wherever you find books online. Get links and more details at glowinthedarkradio.com and mikeluoma.com. This has been a presentation of Glow in the Dark Radio.